My video for June the 8th, 2018 is entitled The God Debate, Atheist versus Christian. A friend sent me a link to a portion of a debate held at Notre Dame and sponsored by their College of Arts and Letters. I not only watched and listened to the segment sent to me, I went online and found the entire debate featuring atheist neuroscientist Sam Harris and evangelical Christian apologist William Lane Craig as they debated the topic, "Is good from God?" While many commenters thought Mr. Craig won the debate, I saw it differently. To me, Sam Harris presented a far more compelling argument than his Christian counterpart. I shared it with a friend who used to lead the music in a church I attended, but after facing serious health challenges became an atheist. She reacted by shutting down her responses in Facebook Messenger. This is how many react, closing themselves to discussion. When we do this, we prevent healing and developing a better grasp of where others are coming from in their perceptions of the meaning of life, if indeed it even has a meaning. Mr. Harris, to me, was right in that it boils down to our willingness to love one another, which can never happen when we shut ourselves off from honest dialogue. I was very much impressed, quite honestly, by Sam Harris. And while I'm not an atheist, I do resonate strongly with his assertion that if God is truly loving, why would he require people born in cultures that are not Christian to become Christian in order to go to heaven, and condemn those that don't become Christians to go to hell for eternity? This is an age-old dilemma that people, a lot of people, don't even consider. They think, well, I became a Christian. Of course, many times they didn't become a Christian. They were born in a family that told them that that was the truth, as I was. And most are unlike me, willing to think outside the box, which I've been doing since I was at least a teenager, early in my teens. But most people seem to just stay. And I mean, this lady that I mentioned in the blurb, I mean, I've known her for a long time. And I think she's a wonderful human being. I really do. And I understand the health challenges that made her question, well, if God loves me, why? I'm assuming she prayed. I mean, I never really talked to her about prayer and how her prayer life was, but I'm sure she asked for healing. And she had to rely on the medical field to preserve her life, and she's still alive. She still seems to be in reasonably good health at this point in time in her life, although she's had some severe challenges, and I'm aware of some of those. Not going to detail them, of course, because that's her life, not mine. And it's not my business to reveal personal things about people. And you may say, well, Ron, why are you revealing this? Because it hurt me that when I sent her the video saying that I sided with the atheist and then get shut down, I mean, that really bothers me, because that's what a lot of us do. We don't want to talk about anything that resolves issues or explores other points of view, which to me is a sine qua non. In other words, it's absolutely necessary that we put the subjects on the table that are controversial. because it's in the controversial subjects and areas of our experience as human beings. It's in those areas where we get the opportunity to love, and you can't love without listening. Now, I realize that some people cannot listen because all they want to do is convince you that you're wrong and they're right. Well, that prevents dialogue completely. But that's not where I was coming from. In fact, I was saying, I understand the situation that you're in, becoming an atheist. I understand that it doesn't make sense that religions butt heads with each other. But again, remember, God did not create any religion. No religion is God's religion. God is beyond religion and must be, if there is a God at all. Now, I'm challenged, frankly, why a loving God would allow some of the horrendous, not only the horrendous deception, but the horrendous cruelty that has gone on as people fight with each other and go to war with each other. And it's been going on, as I keep saying in other videos, for eons of time. It's not something that's just in the modern era, so to speak, even of the last couple hundred years. It's something that has been going on, as far as we can tell, throughout the history of the planet. And in the current age, it's obvious. But when we dig down and we can determine in different parts of the world, we can find evidence that it was going on in much, 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 much longer than 4004 BC, which some people are ignorant enough to say that was the beginning of the world. That was when the world was created, 4004 BC. How they come up with that, I don't know. But people come up with all sorts of weird ideas. And then they go into the butt head syndrome, where they try to convince the other people that their particular viewpoint is the right one. No, again, I keep coming back. The only right one is when I decide that others have as valid a viewpoint from their perspective as I think I do from mine, and I'm willing to meet them in the middle. I'm willing to meet them on common ground. And the common ground is always that we want to prosper and be in health. None of us want to be unhealthy. None of us want to be impoverished. None of us want to be enslaved. But yet, many of us find ourselves in those conditions. How are we going to correct them if all we do is medicate them? If all we do is turn our heads away from what's wrong and say, well, I'm going to just have a positive attitude. That's not a positive attitude. That's the attitude of denial. It's the attitude of closing yourself off to other possibilities. It's closing yourself off to growth and becoming aware of a bigger picture. I emphasize again and again our need to see the bigger picture and embrace the quality of love that allows us to begin by listening to where the other person is coming from. Not cutting them off, not shutting the door and saying, I'm not going to allow that kind of conversation. That's a person that's already made up their mind. And when you've already made up your mind, you're choosing slavery. You're choosing a limited viewpoint that keeps you from ever developing the loving kindness that is necessary to heal our individual lives and our world experience. Thank you, folks, for listening. Aloha. Namaste. Thank you.